All right, and it looks like we're ready to rock. Hey there, everyone, and what the heck is going on? Welcome to everybody's favorite Sunday night Xbox show, the Xbox Roundtable Podcast. This is episode number 164. I'm your host, Invader, and it's a pleasure to have you all here with us. I hope you've all been having a good time over the past few days. Obviously, Christmas just passed, and I know I had my fair share of wine and, well, other beverages. However, I hope everyone has just been well and safe overall. And as far as the gaming scene goes, it's been, well, relatively quiet the past week. Of course, with the end of, it's been, again, relatively quiet, and it's the end of the year holidays. But hey, you know what? We've still got a lot of things to talk about, and we'll be discussing some recent improvements and news regarding Cyberpunk. As well, we'll check out the games on the Xbox Countdown sale and give you some of our recommendations, and we'll touch on our favorite games of the past year. But before we get into all that, let me introduce tonight's TXR panel, and I'll start with TimDog. Hey Tim, how you been? It's great to see you.
Good to see you. Happy holidays. Hope everyone got their Xboxes and their PS5s. Happy to be here. Just like you said, it's winding down, end of the year. I think gaming definitely is going to ratchet up in the next year, but it's we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight, year in review, and just overall happy to be here, and happy holiday to all the people who tune in on Sunday night here.
Yeah, buddy, well said. Jeremy, buddy, how's things at your end?
What's up, my lovely Canadian? How was your week, sir?
My week's been pretty relaxing overall. You know, I mean, I've had to work this past weekend, but otherwise, I mean, I don't know, I've just been, taking it easy, pretty much.
Did Santa bring you everything you asked for this holiday?
Yeah, pretty
Wait,
much.
you're Canadian. You don't believe in Santa, huh? That's right.
Yeah, that's right. I believe in Mr. Hanky.
So I've been trying to finish up this the Hive Busters again, which is just a great DLC from the Coalition. And I was telling, well, Tim missed it, but I talked about, the art direction, the set pieces, just everything about Hive Busters and Gears 5 is better than than the actual game. I mean, just from an overall visual standpoint, and even though the characters are kind of meh, I just felt like just from a art direction and graphics and the creative, just some of the things they do creatively in Hive Busters is just a better effort from the Coalition than 4 and 5, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we were talking about that a bit before the show, and yeah, my sentiment's the same. I haven't finished it yet, but I put at least 2 hours into it, and just from the art direction and just the way that like the set pieces are, I think it's really well done. So
yeah,
hopefully they continue with that. I'm really excited to see what the Coalition have in store after this. So, hey, all the power to them. All right, moving on down the list here. Eric Shockley, buddy, how you been?
Pretty good. Hope everyone had a good holiday. Haven't been playing too well. No, I'll rephrase that. I had been playing a lot. Not of any of like Hive Busters I haven't gotten to, or Cyberpunk. Had some family over, so we've been playing a lot of Monopoly on the Xbox lately. So that one's pretty cool. So you can just easily pass around the controller. So it's nice, cool, casual, setting. So instead of playing around like a board game, so it makes the game kind of go quicker because it keeps everybody. That's the problem with Monopoly. It goes on, and then people don't follow rules. But that's why when you play the game, rules are already there. So, but yeah, just
Monopoly, it's house rules, buddy. You don't play with rules in Monopoly. Come on.
Not like rules, but like you have to like keep where the game keeps all the tabs on everybody. So it's not like, oh wait, did something miss here? Or did you not pay the right price of like buying back your house? And no one has to be banker and all that nonsense. Because we just bought a board game on Monopoly, and one of the chance cards now is you make it rain on the floor, and everybody races to pick up the hundreds. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, what kind of a game in the new Monopoly in 2020, where it's like I'm gonna like destroy the pieces of the game by, it says literally throw the money on the floor and everybody runs and tries to get them. Like,
they got to make Monopoly now with like the COVID edition or something with, you have to wear like a plastic bubble. You can't be near somebody and it's digital. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Doing some of that, and got a new computer desk the wife got me, and I got a EverDrive for my Super Nintendo, so I'm excited to get started on that. So no longer having to get out of my ass and put the cartridges in. So that's kind of cool, especially those rare ones that I don't own. But yep, I hope everybody else had an awesome holiday. But that's what I've been up to.
All right, very nice, buddy. Yeah, it's always nice to kick back with some of that Monopoly action. All right, and rounding this out, Centurion Pal, how have you been the past week?
I've been doing pretty good, just kind of relaxing a little bit, playing some games, avoiding my phone that constantly goes off if you didn't hear it. Definitely just trying to relax and soak in the holidays. Found myself playing a lot of Forza for some reason. Finally also got past a certain individual in Code Vein. I don't know why. I kept going back for more punishment until I finally was able to get past it. So that's pretty much all I've been doing when it comes to gaming. Other than that, just kind of hanging out with the family. And
now, what kind of soaking? What kind of soaking are we talking about here? Are we talking like bottle soaking, or are we talking about?
No, actually, I did not drink at all for the holidays. Nope. Just kind of soaking in the extra time off and spending a little bit of time with the wife. Yeah, this is the first time Christmas in a long time we didn't really have any family down. My dad's got COPD, so he can't really travel as a result of his lungs. So we just kind of did our own thing this year for Christmas, and it's kind of relaxing.
All right. Yeah, a lot of people have been...
sounds like fun from all the excitement.
Well, no, it's just, a lot of people have been spending it kind of solitary. Unfortunately.
I know it does.
So
it's kind of funny though. It's weird, how other people are like saying solitary, but because of like us here and podcasting, and because we hang out online and we party chat, no matter what console you game on, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, wherever you're at, it's kind of like if you have that community base there already that you game with, it doesn't feel as solitary. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that too, because me and Jeremy, we were playing Deep Rock Galactic a few nights ago. What was it, Christmas Eve? So that was fun. We got in a couple of games. Actually, I got some footage up from that too, so you'll see some of that crazy Deep Rock action going on.
And speaking of Deep Rock Galactic, I'm a sucker for games that really, do it for the holidays, where they go in, throw some snow around, add some decorations. When it came to Deep Rock Galactic, oh my gosh, I feel like they pulled out all the stops. I feel like they really overdid it in a good way compared to a lot of other games where, it was just everywhere.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty amazing, too, because it's all procedurally generated. And then you'll be walking into a cave, and all of a sudden there's all these presents and bulbs sitting everywhere.
And the enemies would pop with confetti and other stuff as you would hit them. It got really, really fun. And, you really can't help but have a good time playing that game.
Yeah, no, it's really really fun game. I mean, again, Jeremy and me were having a blast playing it too, and yeah, I can't get enough of this game. I can always go back to it. I can't wait for them to add more content to it. Ugh. All right, guys. A reminder that you got all of you listening in. You can find us on a wide variety of podcasting platforms. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so many other services. Follow us on them for all of your TXR on the go. Believe me, it's well worth it. All right, fellas, let's start off things with some Cyberpunk talk. I know Jeremy really wants to get into this. The past few weeks have seen, well, a bit of a rocky response to the game, as we've touched on it. However, there's been a few hot fixes recently, with more to be rolled out, I believe, within the next week or so, addressing additional issues. Now, Jeremy, I know you've been, again, putting in countless hours into it. I think, 50 hours, if I'm not mistaken, if not more. So far, so how's your experiences been now with the multitude of patches? Have you been noticing any improvements?
Well, one thing I have noticed is the talk, all the noise, and is kind of simmered down a little bit. So despite the noise, despite all the clutter, you've seen, what a great game can really overcome in today's, media. Hold on one second. Jeez. Sorry about that. So Cyberpunk, it had its back against the wall, really, but to me, it prevailed. 13 million copies across platforms is just totally insane. All platforms. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a game I can't stop playing. We're talking. I told you before we even started the podcast, I'm 50 hours in. So you see it across social media. People are absolutely in love with this game. They're dumping, again, countless hours into it. Because there's just so much to see, do, and explore. I don't know how far you guys are into it. I know you just started Invader, but even the base console, which I've tried the 1.06 patch on the original Xbox, and it runs a lot better now. CD Projekt Red is already making more improvements on the game. The base Xbox Invader was running literally at 10 frames per second in like the heavy gameplay situations. But now, I know it's not saying much, but now it's at a stable 20 frames per second with a higher resolution and much, much less bugs. So again, I've played it on all three on three platforms, which is an high-end PC, the Series X, and the original Xbox. Which again, when I first started, when there was no updates, it played like mud. I mean, it was pretty much unplayable.
Xbox, if I can ask.
What's up?
Which version of the original Xbox?
The base Xbox, the big, the big
VC. So you used
the big VCR,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you still had one of those floating around.
I still have one. The kids still use it, and I have, just other ones in the house. But, for a super mature game title like Cyberpunk to sell 13 million in just weeks is unheard of in this industry. So I just think the game still has a lot going for it. Again, all that noise is kind of cleared up, despite, I think, these people who are filing for a class action lawsuit. It seems to be moving forward with that. Who knows if it's going to see the light of day, but I just think they're in a good spot. CD Projekt Red's in a good spot right now. Again, they're still making these improvements to the game, even the base consoles. So, I don't know how your experience has been. I don't know if Tim's played the game. I don't know if Centurion started to play, a few hours into it.
I'm waiting for the next generation upgrade. So,
okay.
I honestly, I was gonna play it, and then I saw the issues, and then I saw the PC version with the ray tracing. You've tried that, right?
Yeah, so
And
my computer can do ray tracing at 4K. It could basically max out everything. However, my GPU crashes if because my system gets too hot if I start playing it for like a good 2 hours. So I have to stop. I have to
it
either
looks
do.
amazing, though, right?
Yeah. It's just out of. It's the best looking game on console by far, with all the bells and whistles tied to it for sure. Yeah. So I've played it with just the full ray tracing on, and just again for it to have that with all the the crowd movement in that, and just everything that's going on in the world, just it's something that's never been done. I'm going to reiterate that it's never been done before on a scale like this. So you're going to get those bugs. I know that's not a good excuse for people, but for those who have played it, who understand the game's architecture and just everything that's been put into this game, it really is a technical marvel if you really look at it. Which it's even surprising that these older systems can even play the goddamn game. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Definitely.
I plan to play it more than I already have been. I guess I would say I was waiting for a few patches, but how can I say it? I've been wanting to kind of clear up a few games in my backlog that I've been already in the middle of, because I know as soon as I really kind of get into just how extensive Cyberpunk 2077 can be, I know it's going to consume a lot of gaming for me, and that's where I guess I'm just trying to wrap up a few extra games before I kind of take that plunge.
So I'm 50 hours in, like I said, and really feel like I haven't even scratched the surface on this game. I'm almost done with the campaign, but I feel like there's a lot more out there with my level building and my character. And there's a level cap at like level 50. So
Wow.
you can't max out everything, but you can strategically, do a few things for your guy to be like super overpowered. I mean, you can put in your upgrades and you can make your character with some of the upgrades that you get, whether it's legendary or iconic or rare. There's certain things that you can have in the game to just make your character insane. Like I have these mods on my clothing right now, which I have almost all legendary clothing that I could attach like 4, 5, 6 mods to it on for each piece of clothing. And I'm going out and I'm buying these legendary mods that I could attach to my legendary clothing, and my critical stats are just insane. So when I'm headshotting I'm using a tech weapon on my sniper rifle, which I, kind of finagled my RPG elements and stats to make my tech weapons better. When I'm doing a headshot on some of these guys, I'm taking like 50K off, bosses. So I'm headshotting like one boss, and some of the bosses in the game, I'm headshotting them in one hit, and they're just going down.
Wow.
It sounds like my Fallout character after I got done. That's where I get kind of like really into games like this. And my Fallout 4 character before I finished was like at over 120, like a level 120. Pretty much I was just walking around the game, just drop shotting everything just because as certain stats were completely maxed out.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still get wrecked, and you can get wrecked in
Oh
this
yeah,
game
you could
big
get wrecked
time.
if they could get to you.
Yeah, but I'm at a good place right now where, I can do some damage, but at the same time receive some in the process.
Well, you're pretty much one of the biggest CD Projekt Red fans I know. So I'm happy to hear that you're happy with the game. Would you say that you're having more fun with this game versus Witcher 3, or do you feel like Witcher 3 overall was the better experience?
I would say they're two different experiences, but I like I said last podcast, I really do believe that this is one of the best games ever made. When all is said and done, even with the clutter and the noise that you hear. And I think when you scroll down and look at people's Twitter feed talking about Cyberpunk, they would say the same thing. There's a lot of people playing this game right now, Tim. And
Right.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of
No.
people, yeah, there's a lot of people enjoying this game. I mean, big time.
I couldn't
So
believe when I heard the 13 million. Now,
Mhm.
that's
like I
insane.
saw everything, and like I said, I have the game because I bought the console,
Yeah.
and I'm holding off, like I said, for the next generation patches. I want to play it in its full glory, and obviously less buggy state. So I'm on the wait. But when I heard 13 million, I mean, I was like, oh my god. I
13,
was like,
13 million, Tim, for a
crazy.
mature game like this is insane. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Keep in mind, guys, that this is despite it being pulled from the PlayStation Digital Store. Right.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think the lifetime sales that you're looking at probably 30 million or something like that. 'Cause it's going to sell over time. But yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate that the company took a big hit. Obviously, stock took a hit. The reputation took a hit.
Well, they're getting that
Uh,
back. Stock's coming
yeah,
back faster than their reputation. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, it's just a crazy situation, but good to hear that they're kind of like weathering the storm and getting back on its feet. Because I was kind of worried there for a little that it could get real bad.
So
Now,
to answer, partly answer what Tim was talking about with The Witcher. You go on the same stories, not directly the same stories, but the same setup. Very in-depth story lines, story character arcs. Um, just the conversations that you have, some of the simple things that you do with a lot of characters inside the cyberpunk world. It maps the exact same thing or the exact same things you did with the Witcher characters, meaning, you spend a lot of time caring about these characters, spending time with them, just certain things that you do. So in that sense, yeah, it's very much like The Witcher 3, and enjoyable like The Witcher 3, which, it did that well. And I think that's one of the Cyberpunk's strong suits is their story, and their character arcs inside the world. It's amazing. And some of the quests you go on, Tim, are absolutely insane. Like, think of the craziest shit you could think of in a game of you actually doing, and then you actually playing, and then you go doing it. Like, there was this one quest, not to ruin it for everybody, but you've seen it in the feed, that we're talking about. So you follow this news article about a serial killer that went out to kill a bunch of boys, and he was whatever, sexually molesting them or whatnot, and the cops end up putting this guy in a coma, the serial killer in a coma. However, it doesn't you can't explain away all the kids that were taken from this guy, that were killed by this guy, and then some that were currently being held by this guy. So with him being in a coma, you had to go into his actual dream and find out where he's keeping these kids so you could save the kids. And it was just
That's pretty
crazy.
sick.
It was crazy.
That's
Like,
pretty sick.
and the only way that you can reach somebody inside the coma in the world of Cyberpunk was to latch on to something that the serial killer liked, which at the time was a cartoon that he watched when his father was abusing him as a kid.
holy shit.
He liked this cartoon, so you had to find the cartoon that he liked, in detective mode, a la Witcher style, and go into his head, into the serial killer's head, and find out where he was keeping all the rest of the kids that that he took. So I'm just gonna leave it there, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's
And there's countless
That sounds sick.
yeah, there's countless stories like that in the game.
that is crazy. I'm pretty sure some people in the chat are just kind of speechless at the
Well,
moment.
he just ruined Cyberpunk for me. I'm uninstalling it.
Nah.
Actually, speaking of the chat, Jeremy, Six Slayer has a question. I think I'll direct it at you. Judy or Panam?
Oh my goodness, that's a tough one. I would have to say, I would give the nod to Pan Am because she's a little bit, I don't know, she's like the tough chick in the game. Yeah, and she's a tiny bit better looking than Judy, but Judy is fine in her own right. But yeah, it's something like that where you start caring about these goddamn characters in the game that you have no reason to care about, and you're debating whether or not you go at Team Judy or Team Pan Am. Which when you guys get to that point, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Interesting. Now, there was a lawsuit filed a few days ago against CD Projekt Red for apparently misleading investors on the state of the game, most notably the PS4 and Xbox One versions. Do you think that'll go through? Maybe?
It depends. A lot of stuff with class action lawsuits is depending whether or not how many people they get on board. So they get a lot of people on board and they present the case to them, just depending on what I don't know what they have.
There's already going to be losses occurred because the game was delisted off PlayStation, which was the biggest install base on the console network.
Right.
And they're going to sit there and be like, oh, well, yeah, you sold 13 million, but if you guys didn't F this up, we would have sold X million, and we want to be compensated for that.
See, but at the same time, you got to throw in the fact that they came to a mutual decision over a CD Projekt Red and Sony. So you have to factor in that. You just can't,
Well, that's why we don't really know what's said behind closed doors. You don't really know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But when you read the actual class action lawsuit, they did mention that it was basically, for the first time ever, a game that was delisted during launch. And that, they were wanting to explore the implications of losses because of the fact that the game was not able to be sold during a holiday weekend during its launch, which definitely some people, left them feeling like that there was some money kind of left on the table by doing it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how it's gonna. I wonder how many signatures or how many people that they'll really get, and how far they'll go with it. It's just, I mean, aside from everything, it's the way Jeremy explained, it's a very interesting game, but it's just kind of sad that it also has this over its head. It's kind of, I kind of think that they should have delayed it a little bit more, but there is blame to go around, but I'm one that doesn't want them to suffer to the point where they're debilitated.
That's where I'm not definitely, please people, I'm not handing out sheets of tinfoil and putting them on my head as hats. But if this lawsuit thing does become something that is going to affect CD Projekt Red, honestly, at least in the back of my mind, I really honestly seen probably Microsoft at that point probably picking them up and basically helping make sure that CD Projekt Red doesn't get swallowed up by something like that. Yeah,
no, they won't get swallowed up by. They have insurance, insurance.
Well, it's just like they were saying the damage to the reputation and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And, there's definitely.
So you don't want to mix. You don't want to you don't want a mass exodus and stuff like that really can hurt a company. I don't think that we're there or it's going there, but
there's no telling with how far this.
Tim, I was talking about this last podcast. What's the difference between this and let's say, Rocksteady's Batman Arkham game, where the PC version Yeah, the PC version, they had to wait 4 months and re-release it. What's the
Yeah,
difference
no,
between
yeah,
that and what's the
agreed.
difference between Battlefield 4 and them patching the game a year later? Or
Mhm.
I just to me
No,
it's
I hear your argument. There's no difference, honestly.
yeah.
But for some reason, I hate. I guess the whole idea of like, I really hope. I hate using this term. The cancel culture, I guess it's called,
Mhm.
doesn't really kind of run rampant here, just because a game that everybody for some reason was like hanging their absolute emotions on, it came out the
Yeah,
way it came out the way a CD Projekt Red game comes out. It comes out with bugs and some issues that need to be patched. That was definitely relevant when The Witcher 3 came out. It's the
Yeah.
same story now, which is definitely where it can be argued that technically the game came out in the same state as games
Yeah.
past, which is where you could technically say the game was playable if you hold those games on the same level. I just don't know now, with everybody making these demands, wanting finished games, this, that, and the other. Is this going to be the one time we see a studio made an example of?
Well, there's that, and I think you're right about the cancel culture because they wanted Cyberpunk's head from the beginning
Oh,
because
dude, there was people out there that wanted to still
well,
own the game after they got the refund.
well, there was that because there's some heavy themes, and like I said, with the whole, when I spoke about the serial killer thing, again, I didn't go in great detail about that, but there was a situation even before that when you started investigating into the serial killer, where
Mhm.
you find out that the kid was swept up due to cyber, what do you call it, that web, just
Mm-hmm.
he was he was a predator
The
on the
dark
web.
one. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a predator. You find out when you hack into the boy's computer that he was swooped up and he went to the secret dark website and this guy was talking to him on there. And it just heavy themes in this game or it's
Right.
never been done before. It's people are going crazy over it.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
nuts.
well, I mean, like I said, this isn't the first time. You remember No Man's Sky. You
Yeah.
remember a lot of these games.
Well, you
It's
remember the
just
Master Chief collection. You couldn't play it for
the
6 months.
master. Yeah, yeah. You have those games, and
The
you
biggest one
know,
that comes to mind right now, honestly, is Anthem.
yeah,
When
yeah.
that game, like, that game was totally misrepresented at its reveal at E3. If you watch the trailer from the reveal at
Yeah,
E3 to what we got, it was totally misrepresented. It's pretty much right there. But anyways, Anthem is a good example of a game, I guess, that also should have been treated on the same level. But here we are all, talking about, how great Anthem 2.0 is going to be, but make sure CD Projekt Red learns their lesson.
Yeah.
yeah. I agreed. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that some of the silly stuff too. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I do believe that they deserve criticism, and that
Yeah,
they've
absolutely.
done wrong. They've done wrong here. But again, I think that you've also seen a side of stupidity. Like, I mean, I remember the one guy on the internet. He's like, "Well, they refunded me, but now I have no access to the game. What the hell?" I mean, some of the stupidity that I've seen over this game, and I don't think it helps too that we are in now. I think gaming through like through COVID and the way it's kind of propped up to a point where I think we're going to talk about it next, where it's just on a different level now,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and the scrutiny is much higher. And I think that it was just a perfect storm too for CD Projekt Red to get smashed.
Yeah,
And
it was a perfect storm.
I mean, so other times it's like it's funny. You get times where people go crazy over frame rate drops, and then for other games it's like okay. It's like gamers are very. It's the time and place, the politics, and everything that
Yeah.
goes along with it. I know that also that they had they had some enemies too before this. They had some suggestive themes and
Yeah.
some politics and all that bullshit.
Well, they wanted,
Where
if there was
just
people
right
wanted
pounds.
CD Projekt Red to fail,
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, they definitely, there was a contingent, but let's be honest. Let's hope that they learn from the best, and let's hope that they can recover. Because if we lost a developer like this because of per se cancel culture that seems to be running rampant, that would really suck. Because just some of the stuff that Jeremy's explaining, and some of the stuff that you probably will see from this developer in the future is going to blow us away. So hopefully they learn their lesson, and hopefully the class action suit gets settled in a way where it doesn't debilitate them, and they can recover, and they can move on. Because I think overall they have a successful game, even with all this stuff that we've discussed and went over.
and a lot of games can't overcome what this has
Yeah.
overcome, Tim. I mean, it's crazy to think
sure.
that.
Okay, so two things. One, games that can overcome. I hate to bring it up, but Elder Scrolls Online. Go check out the PC launch of that dumpster fire of a game. I wouldn't even touch Elder Scrolls Online when it was on PC. People that played it completely hated it. They tried to actually charge people to play it. It was bad. And that's why they launched. They did a relaunch on console, and that's where they did a total redesign of the game. They called it One Tamriel. They got rid of a lot of the level caps. They made it a much more open game. They got rid of the paywall to play it, other than Xbox Live on console and PSN. But definitely changed the game night and day by completely overhauling it. So, and now that game, I mean, now they hold an event once a year. They got one coming up now with Gates of Oblivion, where ZeniMax comes out, and the guy running the show over there at ESO tells all the fans out there what's coming out. I know he's not going to be doing it in front of a crowd this year, but generally they have that guy sitting down in front of a crowd of cheering fans that are pretty excited for ESO. And then onto the bug side of things, this is one thing I got to remember. So I had a Series X completely brick itself 5 hours out of the box. Piece of new technology. We have games right now that are being made on newer consoles, and I know like a lot of the other problems were with Cyberpunk were on the older generation, but we're also going to see some pretty good bugs and glitches on the newer stuff, because we're going to be dealing with ray tracing and things that these developers have never really put on console, and we're going to see some probably really fun and funny stuff. But that's where we should allow these developers to have a chance to fix it, because of something they completely couldn't plan for until the game was put out in the wild. There's just so many things you can do in those development studios, playing it with the other people that work around there in a controlled environment. There is times you want to release this thing in the wild and see what happens. And so I definitely want to give developers a chance to do that, and kind of have fun with these new games and push the boundaries. Because if a developer becomes scared to push the boundaries, at that point, we're just going to get the same games over and over again.
Yeah, agreed. Good point. Very good point.
Yeah, I just, again, some devs get a little more slack than others. I know Bethesda, for example, I hear a lot of people thinking that, say that there's always a certain charm to their bugs. But then you look at a game like Fallout 76, right? That was probably, one of the most...
that game got smashed.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that game would ever...
Another game, honestly, that game right there, honestly, I feel had almost as big as problems than Anthem and Cyberpunk combined, because not only was the game lacking a ton of content, had bugs and glitches everywhere, it was a shell of a game, but the collector's edition also had its own lawsuit around it because of a misrepresented bag in the collector's edition.
Yeah, I don't think it was a shell of a game. I played that game countless hours at launch.
No. When it first came out, people really could not accept the idea. Not everybody could not accept the idea of a game where there really wasn't any NPCs.
Oh yeah,
especially with Fallout, where a lot of the charm of the game came from the NPCs in the game.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that game, that's a good example because that game's going strong still.
Oh, still strong. Oh, dude, and we got to think about some of the money grab techniques that have been used in that game that have totally made people angry, but it still has not been delisted or call to action on Fallout 76.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
for sure.
Yeah, we
they definitely have to Bethesda, and that was a big miss on Bethesda. And I spoke to some people, and they said that being that Bethesda had some of those falling outs with certain things that made it all the more purchasable because dealing with things like that brought the price down a little. I mean, still 7.5 billion, but things like that definitely made it where Xbox could negotiate and get in. And the Fallout 76 was a big hit to the well, it wasn't a big hit to the company overall, I would say, but it hurt. It hit home.
Yeah, because it was still in the back of purchasers' minds, right? So it's like, it doesn't sit well, right, when you're thinking of buying a few studios or, again, like an entire publishing line and, right? So it's something you have to think about.
I would say that Fallout 76 is Bethesda's least popular game out of the, just out of the sheer amount of great games that come out of the studio. It is frowned upon. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I look at it like this: for those who have played Fallout 76, I still think it's better, even in its beginning in the early stages. It was better than 85% of the games out on any system. I mean, it's just an opinion, but
right.
It's still a good game.
I've heard that, and I've heard right now it's in a very workable state. So, you look at Halo Master Chief Collection. They stuck with that game, and when it launched, it was launched horribly. You couldn't find a game online. The matchmaking was broken, and they stuck with it, and they fixed it, and now it's a big PC title. It went to PC, obviously, and you can recover. And I overall, for the topic, I think that CD Projekt Red definitely got knocked on its ass, and they definitely learned a lesson. And it just goes to show you could be one of the biggest and most respected developers with goodwill. And you look back and CD Projekt Red was like, they were the exception, and just for them to have this happen to them goes to show you that you're only as good as your last game made.
And last hit.
It really is true. You come out with something and it's not in the best shape, and but like I said, the 13 million really did surprise me, and it just goes to show you the game's very popular, and they are a very popular developer, and they'll recover, I'm thinking, and we'll be talking about a lot differently. I'm hoping that they really nail down these next gen patches. I know that ATG, the Advanced Technical Group for Xbox, has been dispatched out, and that's why it ran better on Xbox than any other console. We had these early face-offs, and everyone's going, "Why is Xbox losing?" And it's more powerful, but it's losing. And one of the reasons is that the GDK is in its infancy, and the drivers aren't there yet, and they're maturing, and and there's a little bit of a learning curve. and the people at ATG. They're the people that can help out, and they're I believe working on this next gen patch. So I'm really looking forward to the next gen patch. I'm hoping it has ray tracing and has all the bells and whistles that the PC version has. Because I saw Alex's from Digital Foundry's comparison with the ray tracing on and ray tracing off.
Like night and day.
Yeah, that was the first time I really understood ray tracing. I mean, you can always, what ray tracing is with the reflection, but that was, of making sense of it, or for me understanding it and grasping it for my own self awareness or of understanding. That was such a great video because you really saw what he was talking about. You also saw when he was talking about Halo Infinite and how the lighting, if the lighting was off and it was soft, that how it was like a game with ray tracing in mind, how it could affect it, and I can see what he was talking about.
Well, Tim, it really does change the game. You look at a title like Minecraft, which which I'm currently in the beta for. It's out now on PC, but it's you put on RTX and it's a different game. It's like you're playing Minecraft 2.
Yeah,
it really is like it's a different game.
I've seen
and
that.
Now
That's
imagine
amazing.
that you're playing Cyberpunk.
Right.
I just maybe you waiting for the upgrades for the X is a wise move, because again you're only going to be waiting a few months. So.
I'm thinking February or March they'll have this.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully, but I mean it's a totally different game. I'm playing on PC. I'm playing on my X. I'm gonna finish out my X and I'm gonna start another profile on PC. With everything.
You play it mostly though on your X now?
I play mostly on my X, but then I'm gonna play my second character on PC with just the ray tracing on.
Because I remember when it first came out, you were playing it on your PC,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've been jumping back and forth.
I've been jumping back and forth, but now it's the majority on Series X.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shock, I'm not sure if there's anything you want to comment on before we move on.
Not much. I just haven't gotten back into it after those first couple weeks, so I'm not too far in it, but so unfortunately holidays hit and then I kind of put a pause on it. So.
Yeah, we're all there.
Yeah, don't worry about that, Shock. You're probably further ahead than what I am. I'm only like 10-15 minutes in, so
yeah. Are you past the title card or like the Cyberpunk logo?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that takes at least a couple hours.
Yeah, depending on
Yeah, but you didn't have any big issues when you were playing though, right?
No, I haven't had any crashes. Yeah, pretty much no issue, other than comparing it to like some of the PC screenshots I see. It's way better lighting. Yeah, well, I think mine because I had that picture that was going like kind of somewhat viral in our community that Arsenal posted, but because the cab scene with that T-Pain looking like guy, I can't forget his name, with the glasses and the shades, or Stevie Wonder's a better comparison, never mind. But there's that scene, but I think when I got into the cab it was like daylight, so it was like really bright, and then when like Arsenal was posting his like ultra whatever 4K ray tracing pic, it was like at night, so it was even amplified more that there is no hey, why is this so bright? There's no darkening where everything's just well lit. But I saw other people's posts on the Series X that were just more at night when they went in there, and it was a little bit closer, so it wasn't so. That's why I bought the PC version, which I regret now, because GOG's gonna take forever to send out refunds. Unfortunately, Microsoft's got a good system there. You get it back within like 2 to 3 days usually. So if you need a refund, but I'd say give it a try if it's on Series X. Maybe not the old gen consoles, but at least with Microsoft, you usually get good turnaround time if you do want your money back. So
Yeah, that's why it's probably off of the PlayStation storefront. It's because their return policy is very strict.
well, they had to make a
And
special case for it because they don't
yeah,
offer refunds, period, unless it's like a
right,
faulty thing. So it's
100%.
like, hey, if everybody's refunding this, just take it off because we're not going to make this a normal thing.
Yeah, we're not gonna set a precedent with it.
Yeah.
Whereas with Xbox, let's be honest. I think anybody that's requested a refund has gotten it.
Yeah.
The only time I've heard people complain is, they abuse it, and then they, I've seen this a lot. You get hit up, and they're like, "Tim, I'm suspended," and I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, I refunded games." And when people like always have done this to me, and they're like, "Well, can you talk to Aaron? And can you talk to this guy?" Every time I've tried it, and now I do it, they look into it, and then like they come back to me, and they're like, "Tim, he had 15 refunds, and like he like did all this shit, and they'll enforce something."
You probably have to really abuse it, like
yeah,
for
exactly.
real. Like
That's
not
why,
even. I've done like 5 refunds in a month, and no problem.
Right. They will if you do exactly, but like if you do really abuse the system, they will enforce it, and they will either suspend your account or they'll lock you out. And I've had that happen, and I've also had people come to me, and they don't tell you the full story, and then I embarrassingly went to somebody at Xbox, and then they did something, and they're like, "Well, I hate to tell you that this guy is completely full of shit." And then you're like, "Oh my god!"
You got to make it kind of somewhat casual, like at least through your year, because even physical media, people buying physical media they can't just, hey, I opened this. Oh, well, too bad. Well, we're not going to take it back. You already opened it. We can exchange it for the same game, but that's about it.
Right. Well, it's nice to see that the bugs are getting squashed and fixed in Cyberpunk, and I'll admit I can't wait to dive into it. I'll probably be able to put in a few hours tomorrow after work, and yeah, I'm glad to see it getting patched up. So hopefully that improves all the talk around it. On that note, guys, we will move on to some other news, and it looks like the game industry has done pretty well over the past year. Now, according to market intelligence firm IDC, it estimates the video game industry revenue has reached nearly 180 billion this year. Holy crap. So, I mean, that's pretty incredible considering the state of the world the past year. And certain games became huge hits, obviously because everybody was at home. And we saw certain various demographics engaging in games in record numbers. Now, I would definitely love to hear everyone's opinion on this matter, but Tim, I'll start off with you here. Do you think we'll continue to see this growth in gaming, considering the massive decline in other forms of entertainment like sports and film?
Right. Well, I think that you'll get a recovery in that, and you'll get a recovery in film and movies. But I definitely think with this, we've entered a new age when you come to thinking video games. It's more accepted now. I think more people this year tried gaming than ever before, I think it's going to keep growing. I think that this medium is going to be the top grossing form of entertainment in the years to come. I just think that this sped it up. I think we were always on that trajectory, but COVID and when people were faced with that decision that you're sitting home and you don't have anything to do, what can you do? And obviously TikTok and certain things grew, but one of the things that grew was video games, and gaming always seemed to have a stigma around it, especially around older gamers, and just like some people would say, you're a loser, or you go out there and go socialize, and there was just things that were thrown at gamers that were unfair. I'm a gamer all my life. I'm 44 years old, but I've had countless times where my peers made fun of me. But it's funny because now these same peers that I work with were either gaming or they had questions for me about gaming and systems. Yeah.
And I want to tell you, because when I was in the 6th grade, I got made fun of because I figured out how to hook my VCR up and record myself playing games. And basically I was told nobody will ever want to watch anybody play games.
Yeah, exactly.
Now look at Twitch today going, damn, I missed that train.
Exactly. And a lot of people like to, make fun of things that they don't know about. But the great thing this year, I mean, it was such a shitty year overall, but the great thing about this year for video games was people gave it a chance. And now we're in a position where these consoles are sold out. These consoles are still sought after. We're talking April before you can readily get these consoles. Nintendo's still selling out beating everyone, even with this. That goes to show you that, like I said, it is going to be the top form of entertainment, and I think that the games will, get even bigger and better, where they rival these. I mean, games are only going up, but you look at like Hollywood and certain stuff like that. The quality is just not there. It seems like that's going down, and the immersion and everything of video gaming and games are going up. So I don't see this stopping. I just see that it just jump started, and right now the forecast, or if you look forward, I think that it's going to be the top dog. And I remember being a kid thinking that, thinking to myself, when is it going to be when gaming's bigger than Hollywood? And we're getting pretty close, and we might even be there. But I think that definitely in the future it's going that way, and it's cool because video games are cool. They're awesome, and it's I'm happy. I'm happy that people are actually now giving credit to where it's credit's due. So, like I said, just expect it more, and a bigger year in 2021.
Not to get too political, but there's half of the country is upset or whatnot, what you call it, with Hollywood and the elite and sports, but that's for a different reason. But the average person who plays games now, Tim, and you just got done telling how your friends made fun or poked fun at you for playing games at such an more mature age, but the average gamer is like 31 years old. And I think there's more people who, I think, between the ages of, the age of 36 than between the ages of 18 and 35 that actually play games. And there's more women now that make up that gaming, just the gaming culture in general, more than ever now. And it's more accepted now than it was back in the days, maybe when, the 16-bit era or the 8-bit era. And I know, gaming kind of took off towards the 16-bit and maybe even 32-bit era when the PlayStation came out. But, that being said, Tim, gaming has indirectly saved countless lives this year. Whether it's someone dealing with depression, Maybe it's a physical disorder. Maybe it's someone staying at home because it's due to the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming continues to bring people together. And, you hear Phil talk about this all the time. Gaming continues to bring people together, even now more so than ever. And it's really helping people cope through the crisis, and you hear people's stories, and we have the privilege to come on every Sunday night and talk about fucking video games, something that we love to do. And there's a culture and there's a community, and we have the Xbox community, and then everybody kind of just gravitates towards gaming, and it just helps so many people throughout a very serious and just horrible time in our history, as a nation, as a world, as a people. And
it's a glimmer of light to this whole shithole.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why people are gravitating towards it. And there's some that just they can't do anything, so they just go play games. There's some that look at it like that, but again, it's indirectly helping somebody. It's indirectly touching a life, whether it someone thinks so or not.
I think that's a great point that you brought up about the mental health and how it's helped people get through a tough time, or it's taking their minds off of situations that were very tough. And
and you see it.
It's true though. It's 100% true. You make a great point.
Yeah, and I would say Xbox they're at the forefront of this when they come out with the adaptive controller, and you see games start taking forms, whether it's you see games like Grounded, which people have a phobia of spiders or something. It's just something simple like that you put in a game. Maybe it's you have some physical disability where you can play a certain game now because you're changing the options. And I think Xbox has done a good job, and the gaming industry in general has done a good job to combat some of the how can you put it?
Stigmas.
Some of the things that just some of the stigma and some of the things that held back people from approaching gaming in general. It's just a good thing,
I still get those cross-eyed looks to this day. I'm there's only one other person at my job right now that will actually pick up a controller and play games, and ironically it's one of the guys who own the place. Outside of that, I mean, when people walk, hey, what'd you do this weekend? I had a podcast with some friends and played some games. And then you explain to them what a podcast is and what you talked about. I mean, at this point, you have pretty much they look at you like, this is what you do with your time? Like, do you have anything better to do with your time? And it's just like, but this is what interests me. What, this is what I do. I enjoy talking about it. And there's actually a very large industry here to talk about, and there's actually a very large community. That was, I guess, one of the reasons why I wanted to get into podcasting, because I guess I got tired of being an outsider, just listening to the shows and chatting with people in chats. I guess I just wanted to start kind of being part of the community.
It's funny is I look at it the same like someone joining like a car club. It's like the same concept, or someone in a book club or a board game club that goes out, or they play Magic the Gathering or something. They go to these, they can't do it anymore, but they go to these mom and pop locations, and then they spend time with each other playing Magic the Gathering or D&D or whatnot. I know
people who think it's a good time to go for a 2-3 day jog through the woods, backpacking all your food and camping gear and all that stuff. And I look at them and I'm like, let me know when you just want to kind of go for a run around the block a few times.
It's funny because we talk about all this stuff and there's a lot of judging and stuff like that, but it's like the people that ask me and they make comments, like they're like blown away when I'm like, well, they're like, what do you talk about? And I'm like, yeah, well, we talk about the industry and how it goes, and like they're just like in awe of how in depth like we get and how like deep it is. But in reality, it's just like you said. It's just like everything else, whether it's a car club or chess or whatever. When you get into it, there's such, you can get real deep. And,
Yeah.
the one thing that I think that what's great that we have this podcast here, just here, and how passionate we are, and how like it sucks because of COVID, but how we went to E3 and how we're hanging out with people like Phil Spencer, or how we're going to dinner with executives, or just going to lunch with Gareth Coker, and a brilliant mind and brilliant musician that probably in 10 years will be widely known and stuff like that. And he's just hanging out with us, and it's just great that it's just a great. I mean, just gaming in general and everything. The way everyone here who's on this panel, and people who've experienced like E3 and stuff like that in the industry. It's awesome. It's something that's fun, and I'm glad that I'm in the thick of it, and I'm right there. And when we can get back to when we can have public gatherings and stuff, we'll be back there at it again, and doing events and stuff like that. But there's no judging anywhere, whether it's a chess club or whatever the hell you do. People really shouldn't do that. But I do think that there's been a little bit of normalization attached to gaming this year more than ever, where like you said, Centurion, and you have one guy that would pick up a controller. Maybe in 2 years, who knows? Maybe you might have 5. You know what I mean?
There is definitely a major stigma behind games now. I don't think
there's a stigma as much as
I think the stigma for the average consumer that's never tried gaming really, they always associate actual true gaming with I gotta sit down for hours and play these games and get invested. They have no idea the diverse nature of gaming. If all you have is a few minutes to play, there's a game for you. If you want to get lost in a couple hours in another world, there's a game for you too. There's something there for you. Don't think that just because you have a controller in your hand, you don't have the time and you're going to lose hours of your life.
It's also a generational thing, too. I mean, obviously, our generation got brought up with it. But the technology, in many ways, has also made it more available to even older people. Like, I see so many older people just playing simple games on their phones, on their iPads. It's actually amazing how many seniors have iPads nowadays.
And then they will completely deny the fact that they are doing that. And when you ask them, hey, have you ever tried, picking up a console game? Oh, I don't got time for that.
Yeah, but it's a subtle normalization. They don't even realize what they're doing, yet they're playing a game. Right?
Well, yeah. But I will say that is the most number one reason I can find from people when I try to bring up the idea of like, hey, have you ever thought about getting an Xbox? Or there's been times I've had extra consoles running around to give to a friend, and it's like, hey, I don't got time for that. Normally, that is the most number one answer, at least I run into in the crowds I'm in, is for some reason people think gaming is just this major of investment of time.
No, I've seen that too as well, and again, it goes back to I remember I guess my wife's aunt. She was making fun of me because I was on the phone. And I told her, this is going back like 10 years ago or whatever, I was on the cell phone or whatever it was. And I said to her, I said, do you think it's funny? I said, I guarantee you in the next 3 years, you'll be on it. Sure enough, I always say it. She's on her iPhone and she's doing everything that she was making fun of me, or questioning. And I think it all goes back to that. People, when they don't know what something is, they tend to put it down or push it down. It's like another story is like I was like the first guy on the internet. Like people were like, "What the hell do you do on the internet?" Like, oh, I talk to people in chat rooms and this and that. And they're like, "Oh man, you're a weirdo. Like, only weirdos go out on those things." And then 5 years later, that same person's meeting somebody on Match.com or whatever, or using the internet to meet somebody, and completely, eating those words that they were saying just 5 years prior. Because again, people, when they don't know what it is, or they don't know how it is, or they don't understand it, they'll tend to put it down to prop themselves up or whatever the reason is. And that's like I said, that part of gaming, I think that we had a little bit of a breakthrough this year, where people kind of like a little more accepting of it, but you still have, you still have it there, but it's just definitely less. Because I think people, like I said, it was okay to game, because now it's just a certain thing to do, and people maybe understood it more. But yeah, overall, tying into this subject, that gaming and just video gaming and everything all, it's such a high ceiling, and we're jump started off to it right now. We're in the middle of it.
Well, even look at the way that the game industry has positioned itself, just with the ease of entry. It's not just $80, $90 games buying outright anymore. You have services, again, like Game Pass, and various other ways to interact.
I bought an indie game the other night for $1 on the Xbox store.
Right.
That's what I was saying. There's some games out there that you can buy very cheaply outside of Game Pass.
Invader, we spoke about how VR was just behind the eight ball on just everything, and now you look at a platform like the Oculus 2 or the Oculus Quest, which it's sold out everywhere. You can't even get their hands on it because, I think now it's just people are just gravitating towards gaming in a huge way, and look at what it's done for, the Oculus. So, and someone like Facebook, where VR has gone mainstream now, so it's like, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
So, I would definitely like to say, at least with my, at least the crowds around here in AZ, it's kind of hard. We don't have that part of the year where the world just goes completely cold and you just want to hide indoors, regretfully. And oh my gosh, they make shopping malls out here, outdoor experiences. The idea of spending any real amount of time for a very long time indoors is completely alien to a lot of people out here.
Yeah, totally. Well, again, just to say that, to sum it all up, that, again, this year has been, well, a massive, massive letdown, to say the least. And here's, at least the game industry, it seems to be coming on very strong right now. There's a lot of interest in it. And I really hope that carries on into 2021. And I'm very hopeful of the things to come. I'm hopefully not a lot more things get delayed, mind you. But again, I'm glad to see that the industry is doing very well and it's healthy. Moving on, guys, and until January 3rd, I believe it is, we have the Xbox Countdown Sale, a sale on a whole bunch of games and more on the Xbox digital storefront. And there's all kinds of deals. There's some games that I'm really, really heavily considering picking up at the moment. But let's go through this and get a few recommendations from the panel just for everybody listening in. Centurion, buddy, what are some good deals going on right now? Is there anything that really caught your eye?
Well, I did pick up Immortals Phoenix Rising because I wanted to get that game. I'm glad I held off, though. I wanted the $100 version, and I got that thing for $67. Haven't fired it up yet. I mean,
how in the hell is that on sale right now? Just came out.
It's Ubisoft. I knew it. They did it with Watch Dogs Legion, which came out at pretty much October. By Black Friday, I was buying the Ultimate Edition of that game for way less than when it came. I was excited. I mean, there has been a lot of good deals coming out of the Xbox store and gaming in general. God, you don't even know where to start on this sale, honestly. If you want to talk about, at least for me, I'm going to pick up, let me see, Final Fantasy, Zodiac Age. That's one I've never played. That one kind of caught my attention. And I'm also, I'm dancing around this idea of actually picking up Call of Duty. I have not bought it yet. I have some friends that are wanting me to play it with them.
Black Ops?
But yeah, but here's the thing. I'll be truthful. I have never been a huge Call of Duty multiplayer fan. I do play online multiplayer, but Call of Duty was definitely never my go-to thing. I bought a Call of Duty one time the day it came out with the season pass and all that good jazz, just to not play that game as much as I should have, and it felt like it was kind of a waste, which is why I don't buy them when they first come out. So I'm definitely considering getting Call of Duty. I haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet.
So
what do you guys think?
So not only on Xbox and around, but on every store, whether it's Steam.
Oh God, yeah, I've been all over. I've been on PlayStation's sale as well. My wife went over there, bought some stuff from her Sims game, and I even picked up a game from Devolver for $5.
So you got to look at other places like the Epic Game Store on PC. I picked up. So first off, they were giving away a free game or 2 free games every single day, 15 days of Christmas. So in that, I got Tyranny Gold Edition for free. I got Oddworld New and Tasty for free. I got Alien Isolation for free. I got City Skylines, blah, blah, blah. But they had another deal where on top of their sales, their regular holiday sale, you got a $10 coupon for, the Epic Game Store. And every time you purchased a game, you would get another coupon. So I got the Pathless for like $20. I got Godfall for like $30. I got Super Meat Boy Forever for $10. And it's just all these other games where it's just I kept rolling over my $10, so I'd get a $10 off Super Meat Boy, $10 off Oxygen Not Included, Godfall, the Pathless, and if people wait for the holiday, they can get some killer deals on this stuff, not just Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Just there's so many sales right now to go on. Even just focusing on the Xbox store deals alone would, like if we were to go into specifics, oh man, it would cover at least an entire show. But there are a lot of good deals, whether it be on the PlayStation Network and Steam and whatnot. Oh yeah, definitely mention whatever you can wholeheartedly.
So I don't think the Pathless is currently on the Steam, to my knowledge, but I think it's a PlayStation and Epic Game Store exclusive. So the Pathless is really, really good. It's the same people that made Accuse, and I think there was I forgot the other game, but it's an excellent game. I do suggest someone picking it up.
Right. Yeah, just from the Xbox sale alone, there's a whole bunch of games that are like 80, 75% off. Like, for example, the BioShock collection is 80% off. Like, you're paying about $12. I mean, hey, I love BioShock. Definitely pick it up if you haven't already. The first one alone is just memorable. I'm very tempted myself to pick up Crash Team Racing because, hey, I really like my racers, my Mario Kart clones, and for 65% off, close to $18. I don't know, man. I'm very tempted to get that. Gears 5, 75% off, $10. I mean, $13. Pretty good for that. There's just all kinds of Doom. 2016's Doom, guys, 70% off at $8 pretty much. Like, Guys, if you haven't already done so, pick up Doom. It's a fantastic game. One of
Dude,
my
they got the BioShock collection on there for $10.
That's what I just said.
Oh, I didn't even hear it. I didn't even hear you say I'm having audio issues. I'm sorry. I didn't even hear you say that.
No, it's okay. Yeah, well, like I was just saying, how can you not? Like, the first game alone is a gem, right?
The first game alone is worth $10. The rest is all going to be fun after that.
Yeah, no, totally. But Doom, guys, 2016's Doom for like $8. Oh, you definitely gotta get on that if you haven't already.
Doom 64, $1.50. Great game.
Yeah, well, I was just noticing.
The HDR
Definitely.
looks really nice on that one. The auto.
Yeah, Doom. Oh, sorry, yeah, not Doom. Duke Nukem 3D is $3. I'm definitely gonna pick that one up.
Yeah, Doom 64 is
Yeah.
at least it's not too far back to where I think it will alienate people just from the visuals. It actually looks like visually nice looking game. So definitely try that one out for $1 or $1.50.
Yeah. I think when, I collect games, digital games. I have, with my Pass subscriptions, over 1,000 games. I probably own over 700. I haven't played all of them, obviously, but it's still, for me, I love to just, to get a game, just knowing that I have it and that I could always turn it on. And when you have these games like Doom or even Duke Nukem, or if you could find like Little Nightmares, which is a great game that I finished, and they're like $5 or they're like $3, you got to pick them up. So these deals, those are the ones that I would suggest you look at. A lot of the games, the big games you probably have played, but certain games like Wolf Among Us, if you've never played that game, if you could see that game for $3 or $5, no brainers. I mean, for me, I always look at these holiday deals, and I usually just pick up 2 or 3 games and spend $15. You know what I mean? And you can't go wrong. You know what I mean?
Invader, see if I could share this with you real quick. Can you pull up my screen real quick?
Yeah, I see it.
Let's see. I want to show you this game real quick.
Oh yeah, this is the Pathless.
Can you see it on your end?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, okay. Can everybody else see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
I think it's pretty damn cool. So this is running on PC, and
2 frames a second.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's actually
At least on our end.
It's a little
Probably just
choppy.
made
it's probably in your end. It's running like frames on mine. I think it's actually 120. But I think it's a fast game. It's a pretty cool damn game. But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys.
Anybody play Ghost Runner?
I played Ghost Runner. It's pretty
Okay.
good.
I saw that one was on sale.
Is Genshin Impact? Is that on Xbox?
I don't think so.
I heard that game's excellent, but I don't think it's on Xbox. I was looking to buy that. I had just purchased the game that Centurion was talking about, Immortals, but I got the $39 one. What was it that you wanted for the $100 version? What did it have?
The season pass had a couple expansions with it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what forgive me. I'm like one of those, like, I want to be able to do everything. And I know the best way to sometimes purchase a game is to get all the content at once. That saved me with Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, probably Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Right.
So I figured it's an Ubisoft game. Might as well get it all now.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys that just plays the game, and I rarely play DLC. Although I've been enjoying this Hivebuster DLC, but for me, I usually am in the mainline game, and I'm good.
Yeah, definitely try out look out for those backwards compatible games. They're all pretty low. And I was playing was it Sonic Adventure 2 with that auto HDR. It looks really nice. And it's $5 right now.
Is Geometric War
Geometry Wars?
Yeah, Geometry Wars. I'll try to get that game if you haven't gotten it. It's an HDR delight, I've heard. I've been looking. I'm on the outlook on that, or on the lookout for that one.
Man, Geometry Wars, that brings me back early 360 days.
Ooh, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition 1250. That was
There you go.
one of the
That's
better
a
Tales
perfect.
games.
Yeah, that's a great deal right there. You can't, you can't
Mhm.
go wrong with it like that. $12.
Well, even Titanfall 2, 80% off at it's not even $6. Like, grab it if you
Yeah,
haven't
you
already.
can't go. And that game on Xbox Series X, because of the way that the engine in that game actually runs over 4K, and it can run up to 6K. Obviously, if you have a 4K TV, it's going to be super sampled down. I played Titanfall 2 on the Xbox Series X, because I've tried many games on the Series X. That's one of the things I love doing with this console is just to see either the upgrades or whatever. Titanfall 2 it rivals anything I've seen pretty much, aside from maybe Hive Busters and a couple of other things. But if you haven't tried Titanfall 2, and if you haven't tried it and it's for $6, there you go. You're gold. Get that game, own it. I mean, even though it's on EA Pass or on Game Pass, go through that. Still, to own the game is the best way. So if you can get a game that, even though you have access to it, but you can buy it, always buy it just to own it, because you never know. You never know what you might not in 5 years have Game Pass or want to subscribe, and you've always owned that. For me, that's I've always done that. Even though a lot of Xbox games day and date, I bought Sea of Thieves. I just wait until they become really cheap, and I outright buy them to own.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I'm tempted to even get it for like a few buddies of mine too. Just it's so low. I've already gotten a friend a game, Wolfenstein: The New Order, because I'm like, hey, dude, it's an excellent shooter. It's only $10. Here you go. Here's a Christmas Day treat for you. And then I'm like, it's funny because I'm more tempted to buy games for other people so that they can play with me rather than just buy for myself. So, but it's nice to have these kinds of sales.
That is completely not odd. I have literally bought multiple friends of mine, the same copy of the game just to increase the pool of people that I could play the game with.
Yeah, man, definitely. Either way, there are lots of fantastic sales out there, guys, whether it be on the Xbox Countdown sale, PSN, Steam. As Jeremy said, there's a whole bunch of free games being given out daily right now by the Epic Game Store. Definitely pick them up. I think Night in the Woods is the one today. Not to mention other sales. It's a good time to pick up some games. Just saying, fellas. We will move on to a different topic, guys. And again, it's been a pretty long year for everyone. And thankfully, we've had a bunch of games to tide us over and keep ourselves occupied during some of these trying times. And gaming has certainly uplifted our spirits for the past year. And I'm curious, what are some of the panel's favorite games in 2020? Shockley, buddy, I'll start with you on this one. Do you have any standout games from 2020?
Definitely my number one's definitely Final Fantasy, the one to kick off the COVID year. For when COVID was going down, it was Final Fantasy remake or 7 remake. That one, the action sequence, the action is just amazing. Like that blows any like Devil May Cry or any like action, that type of action game to me out of the water. What they accomplished with that. So I can't wait to see that on. Hopefully they get a next gen patch soon, or it goes to PC just so you can bump it up to 60 frames. But I think that Last of Us 2 is pretty good. That one was pretty good, except just one little piece of the narrative at the end kind of like was kind of a knock on it. But yeah, the action in that one was pretty awesome. So those are probably my two overall standouts. I can't think of. I tried to get into Animal Crossing. That didn't fly. But I'll probably get back into it maybe a little bit later. I can't think of what anything dropped. Anything else dropped in the summer? I think I'm just blanking on what.
Ori dropped.
Oh, okay.
Ori this year.
Oh yeah. I totally forgot. I was thinking like way back
Beginning
before
of the
everything
year.
started. But yeah, Ori. Yeah, definitely Ori. Probably those three. If I have to make a top three: Final Fantasy
Yeah.
Remake, Last of Us 2, and Ori.
All right. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah.
For me,
go ahead.
you go.
Tim.
I still have games. Like I want to play The Last of Us 2, and I'm waiting to get the PlayStation 5. I want to play Ghost of Tsushima. Sony had a tremendous year. But for me, as an Xbox guy, Ori was fantastic. Was really good. Finished it. What other game was I just looking at that I really enjoyed? And it's funny because I'm in the middle of it. The new Yakuza. I think
What a
that
great game.
Jeremy, really enjoying it. So try that game out. There's been a ton of games this year. But yeah, I was thinking about Jeremy because Yakuza really, it's pretty awesome. And he told me about it, and I've liked some of their games, but yeah, I'm in the middle of it and enjoying it, and it's I'm looking forward to getting back to finishing it. I think I'll finish the first 2 chapters. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah, for myself, Invader, definitely Ori, the Will-O-Wisps. Man, I started playing Minecraft Dungeons with my kids, and that's a great game for those who like Diablo. It's not as deep or in depth as Diablo, but it kind of fills that need and void. That's a great game. Of course, Deep Rock Galactic. I can never get bored of that game. We play it. It's almost, it seems like every other week we play it online.
Yeah.
That one's good. I do like the huge PlayStation games that came out, the Final Fantasies, the The Last of Us 2. I finished God of War this summer finally. I know that's been out forever, but I finally finished it. That was great. There's just so many. Like currently the Yakuzas, the Cyberpunk, that just came out obviously, but I do like Death's Gambit on PC, even though it's not one of my favorite, but that was pretty good. Yeah, and off the top of my head, I think that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Oh, Gears Tactics was pretty good. Even though I didn't finish it, I just started it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of that.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I mean, it impressed me with just its depth, and even the characters are actually pretty cool too, for the most part.
Yeah, right off the bat, the early stages I've started playing it, they're more interesting than the Gears 5 and 4 characters for sure.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, but
it is. But even like you can customize your squad and like deck them out, and it really gets more in depth later on. And the missions are pretty fun, and yeah, overall I'm really enjoying it at the moment. So I definitely got to get back into that.
I was surprised how much I liked The Wasteland 3. I thought it was an excellent game. On VR, I played the Tetris Effect. That's amazing in VR on my Oculus Quest. There's a few other games that were really good. On Beat Saber in VR was really good. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. As far as my games go, my most memorable ones, It's all over the place. For example, Doom Eternal, it is like an absolute symphony of blood and gore and weaponry. It's amazing, from the soundtrack, level design, action. It's just, I cannot get bored with that game. The stuff that is being done with that, it's a blast. I could replay that game over and over again. And I remember it came out right when things were just heating up in March. And like, actually, yeah, it came out the same day as Animal Crossing. And that game really helped to tide me over like the first few weeks going on there. So I was really happy.
You know, I had a chance to watch Digital Foundry, and they were talking about how, you know, their most graphical, impressive games of 2020. And obviously, Cyberpunk was on there on PC. And on that list was Doom Eternal, and they spoke about how the team, you know, oh my God, I can't even I forget the name, but the team that created Doom Eternal and some of the technical stuff that Doom Eternal brings to the table, solid 60 frames per second, how it keeps up in resolution, how they, you know, just it's a graphical marvel, that game is. It really is when you look at it. And some of the animations that the enemies display, how they didn't settle and they just kept going, of the character animations and enemy animations, and how they just explained every little detail about Doom Eternal. And, you know, it's a great game for sure.
Yeah. And just to add on to that too, there are other games. Again, I have to give a mention to Deep Rock Galactic. It's one of those games where I'd always kept an eye on it, and then when we were gonna do a game night, I'm like, okay, I'll get in on it, and it is just such an adventure. I mean, you would think that a game that does procedurally generated levels would suck. I mean, because like, you look at the beginning of this gen and games like No Man's Sky, they had it and it didn't work out as well as what a lot of people thought it would. But then you get into this and it's fantastic. Not only do things always look different, a lot of them make sense and they're interesting. All these caverns you go into, and it's always a blast playing with your co-op teammates, or even when you're alone too, to be honest. But
that game is never boring. I can say that I could play it almost endlessly. I mean, there's tons of things that you can do, even though it's really just a game of point A to go point B and get back to point A. But yeah, I think we should all, even Shock, man. I never see Shock on Xbox, but Shock, you got to jump into Deep Rock Galactic, man. Tim.
Yeah, guys, it's on Game Pass right now too.
Definitely. I remember when it came out for preview, so it's been out a while, but it was very bare bones. But just goes to show you how these games keep building and building. And yeah, it's pretty cool that you guys are playing it. I think I saw Jeremy, or I don't know if it was in the chat. You guys were talking about it, but great to see.
Yeah, man. And one game that I do have to give a nod to, you're not going to believe this, Terminator Resistance. You know, it's based off of, you know, the property Terminator, the movies. But it's not based off of one of the movies per se. It's in the same world with the lore. And it's a fantastic shooter. It has some really in-depth RPG mechanics that make upgrading weaponry interesting. And the story itself is just really entertaining and really gets you involved. And again, I didn't think much of it at first, but it was getting a lot of good reception when it came out. And man, oh man, guys, do not sleep on Terminator Resistance if you want like a really good Terminator video game. It is fantastic. I cannot speak any more highly of it. I mean, the graphics are kind of meh, like not the greatest, but it does a really good job with what it has. And you wouldn't even think it was made by the same dev team behind Rambo the video game, but it's fantastic, guys. I highly recommend it. But yeah, it was a really good year for gaming. and I was so glad to be able to play some of these games. There's so many good games that it's hard to play catch up.
Did anybody try the Saints Row, the third remaster?
No, I haven't actually.
So I was the only one here.
I bought it. I didn't play it though.
I had never played any of the Saints Rows, so I started with playing the original Saints. Well, I didn't go as far back as the original Saints Row. I started on Saints Row 2, did Saints Row 3. Now got to get around to Saints Row 4. I kind of feel like I've been doing a lot more of the backlog and backwards compatibility this year than because like there was Avengers. I mean, there's been some good titles that have come out over the year, but I feel like some of the other ones that I really feel like I'm kind of looking back on and had fun with were like Hitman 2, Ghost Runner. I don't know if you guys checked out Ghost Runner. I'm starting to kind of like go down into checking out different forms of games. And I mean, Ghost Runner, oh my God, that game can be addictive, but also at the same time, you feel like you're pounding your head into a wall if you're not doing it right. Have you tried it at all?
I tried Ghost Runner on PC briefly. I haven't got into it though. I did like what I played.
All right. Has anybody else tried it? Does anybody know what it is?
I know what it is. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not really all that interested in it. I'm not really into those runner games. But I mean,
I've never been interested in them until now. And for some reason, I know it's like you don't want to sit there and play this for hours because you just want to do like a level or two because it literally is one shot kill. Like if they tag you one time, you're down and you got to basically kind of go at it again.
Right.
Hey, Tim, I have a question. I'm buying a new OLED TV. Did you see that? I'm buying the 65-inch Sony A8H. What do you think about that TV?
Very good TV. It's a multi-purpose TV. It'll be awesome on gaming, but for movies, it's very highly rated. It's like for stuff like that. But yeah, I always wanted to own a Sony in addition to my LGs, but I know that you have that the LGs, so
the old one,
old one, yeah. To add that, you'll be in line. The TV's amazing. They say in some aspects it outperforms the LG.
Yeah.
In other aspects, the LG has a little. I don't think it has VRR on it.
No.
You got to look at our things, but yeah, that's a killer TV.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you'll be very happy with that.
Oh,
sweet.
We got Megatron sneaking in here in the chat, dropping $5 super chat. Just so everybody knows, Megatron's not here because it's his birthday. He's having a little shindig. So happy birthday, Megatron.
Wait. It's not his birthday yet. He still has 15 minutes to go.
Well, no, he has an hour and 15 minutes.
Is it an hour for? Whoa,
yeah.
An hour.
Oh, I'm sorry. An hour and 15 minutes. Well, anyways, it's coming up.
We love you, Megatron.
Yeah, and he has a little message here. Jeremy sucks. That is all. JK. Good stuff, Megatron. Good stuff. Hope you're having a good time, man. But yeah. All right, guys. We'll move on, and you know what? Why don't we talk about the games that we're looking forward to in 2021? Moving ahead here. There are quite a few that we know about, whether they've been delayed or, again, they have a vague release date of some sort. But I'll keep this open to whoever wants to just chime in first. What games are you guys looking forward to in 2021?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's not going to be Halo Infinite because that's coming out in 2022.
I knew you were going to say that.
Shut your mouth.
For me, and I'm going to have to get out of here because I have to get going to sleep. But for me, it's going to be Halo Infinite and also Cyberpunk 2077, especially after Jeremy explained that pretty sick I guess side mission.
Dude, all the missions are like that, Tim. All of them, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. But Halo Infinite for me, I'm a huge Halo fan. I grew up loving Halo, and that's one of the reasons why, I've been such a huge Xbox fan, was because of the universe. And I'm hearing really good things, and it's been a great show. I'm just I gotta get out of here a little early. I'll be here next week, and happy holidays to everyone. Happy New Year, and good show tonight, guys. A lot of good talking.
Yeah, definitely, Tim. It's been a really, really positive show, to say the least. And I'm really looking forward to Halo Infinite as well. Despite what Jeremy says, I'm hopeful that it will fall within its autumn-fall release date. I think the timing would be perfect to match up with a certain anniversary. I'm really excited to see what 343 has in store for us, especially with Joe Staten involved. Other than that, of course, being excited for Halo, a few other titles. I don't know if anybody caught this a few weeks ago at the Game Awards, but Back 4 Blood, the Left 4 Dead spiritual successor from Turtle Rock, it looks really good.
Yeah, that one looks pretty good.
Like, no word of a lie. I'm not in on the early testing, but it looks like it's going to be a really fun, good game. Graphically, it looks pretty impressive, too. It just, again, I really need something to scratch that Left 4 Dead itch, and it looks really like a blast. So, looking forward to that sucker. As well, another co-op game, Warhammer 40k Dark Tide. I'm a huge fan of Vermintide. I'm a huge Warhammer nut. So I am definitely going to be in day one for Dark Tide. That's an Xbox exclusive, by the way. And Scorn. I really want to play that game. As much as it is very disturbing, at the same time, I like my horror games. So really excited to play that. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to Scorn. I'm hoping that Halo Infinite comes out at the end of the year of 2021. But we have the Medium coming out in a few weeks too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to the Medium.
Yeah, totally. And even Flight Simulator too. I know that's been out on PC for a few months already, but it's supposed to be coming to Xbox Series X and S in the summer. So I definitely want to get down on that. And Shadow Warrior 3. I really want to play that. I really enjoyed my time with Shadow Warrior 2. Actually, I still need to beat that, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of silly fun with a lot of great action. I can't complain with that game, especially with a lot of the crazy dialogue going on in it. So that's a fun one. Can't wait to play that. Otherwise, there's so many more games to list off, but those are some of the main ones. I can't remember. Shockley, did we get to you yet?
Shockley fell asleep.
Yeah. For next year, I think I would say Halo for what they're going for, because I think Halo 1's probably like my favorite just because of the setting and the aesthetic. Just trying to think. Hopefully, Star Citizen gets announced next year. I know Bethesda likes to just announce them months before release.
Oh, Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield. Yeah, what did I say? Star Citizen.
That game's never coming out.
That game's never coming out. Yeah, wrong. Probably that. And I'm trying to think of anything else on the PlayStation side other than, I guess, God of War, which I don't think is coming out next year. Maybe Horizon. Yeah. Maybe that one. I still need to finish the first one, so there's that. But hopefully Final Fantasy at least hopefully comes to PC and Xbox, or at least PC, or we get a that was the only bad thing about the PlayStation release is there were some textures I would say that were missing. Like the game looks like amazing, but there's definitely some areas where they did not finish. So definitely PC could help with that, either modders or hopefully it's been a year, so hopefully they've upped that for a PC release. But yeah, I would say probably Halo. I don't think Microsoft hasn't announced anything else, right?
No, not really.
That I know of. Okay. And hopefully Metroid Prime 4. Who knows?
Oh man, they've been holding on to the bloody collection for a while now. Hasn't that been supposedly done?
Actually, yeah, I'm really hyped for that. If that's supposed to be rumored to be getting announced, and possibly a Zelda one, because it'd be the Zelda anniversary, I believe. So people are thinking it might be like the Mario collection, like they just did. So it might be like Majora's Mask, Ocarina, and maybe Twilight. That'd be my guess, or maybe Wind Waker's probably in there. Throw out one of those.
Yeah, I could see that. Just the whole Metroid Prime thing, like that's been done for a while. As far as just they postponed it because they had to redo and ship off Metroid Prime 4 to another studio. So, was it?
Hopefully, yeah, at least bring some of those HD. I think those are probably one of the only few games Switch or Wii U games that aren't on the Switch are the Wind Waker HD port and the Twilight Princess HD port. And then the Wii U's completely irrelevant, and I might not need it anymore. But
well, I was hoping they would bring a Star Fox over, but they haven't done that yet. I don't think so. But there's another franchise I would like to see them give some love to, but.
They keep trying and they keep failing. So I don't know what was the last good Star Fox game? 64?
Yeah. Well, although some people like to reference the was it Star Fox Adventures that Rare did, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was an okay like Zelda-ish game.
Yeah, but I know what you mean though, the traditional Star Fox title. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, no, that's those are some good games you listed off. Has everybody gotten a chance to say their most anticipated games?
I didn't, but it's all cool.
No, that's why I was asking. Go right ahead, 50 Cent.
Oh, thanks. No. Well, what games haven't you guys already labeled off? 2021 looks like it's going to be a stacked year. Definitely interested in scoring the medium, but Outriders, I believe that's February. That one's on my radar. I have some friends that are also wanting to check that game out. Looks like it's going to be a good multiplayer. Interested in the new Far Cry that's going to come out. Obviously, if Halo comes out, be checking that out. I mean, I can't really go too far into any of the games that you guys haven't named already. Another honorable mention would probably be Ratchet and Clank.
Yes.
So definitely looking forward to what 2021 has to offer.
Yeah, there's a lot of games. Like, again, there's so many games that we know about that we don't know a specified release date. So, I would love to throw in so many other games in there, but yeah, it's going to be crammed. It's definitely going to be crammed, guys. But you know what? On that note, I think we're going to start wrapping things up. Again, thanks everyone who tuned in tonight with us for the final broadcast of 2020. And I think the majority of us are looking forward to get this year just out of the way completely. And everyone here on the TXR panel is looking forward to kicking 2021 off on a really, really positive note. All of you guys have been really fantastic, and we really appreciate your support over the past year. Again, guys like Red Raven, Six Slayer, Pycon Fusion, Pong Soul, Kenta Wilson, so many people here that we see on a daily basis. Lemon 108 Dragons TV. So many more others. Other Zinc, 9 Lives. I'm just going through the chat here. Froggy T. Wright. So many Kedri and Hardy. Fastback. And so many more. Thank you guys for always hanging with us. And again, guys, if you haven't done so already, then please share this episode out and subscribe to keep up to date on all things TXR. We really appreciate the support. And don't forget to turn on the notifications to let you guys know when the show pops up. All right, guys, let's get this rolling with the outros, and I will start with Centurion. Where can everybody follow you, bud?
Senti.
Right. And thank you, gentlemen, for being here. It's awesome to be podcasting just 2 days removed from Christmas. I definitely wanted to be able to hang out with all my friends and fam, especially on the holidays, and you guys are definitely included in that category. So for those also who want to find me, be sure to follow me at Centurion1307 at Twitter, YouTube, and Xbox Live. I also kick it here every Sunday night on the TXR Podcast, and you can also find me over on the Shop Podcast every Saturday night as well.
Totally, brother. Next up, Jeremy. I know you want to get back to some more Cyberpunk action. Where can everybody find you, bud?
I'm going to bed after this podcast. I gotta wake up early.
Lies.
I do anyway, Canadian. Big shout out to my buddy Megatron. Happy birthday, brother. Yes, you are old, motherfucker, but hey, the older you get, the better you get. Anyway, happy birthday, man. We love you. Yeah, you've missed 3 out of the 4 podcasts, but hey, who's counting? Hope to see you next week. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a good birthday. Peace out.
And you see everyone listening, that was from the heart, what Jeremy just said. He really meant every single word. Thank you, my American brother. Moving on down the list here, Eric Shockley, buddy. Really good recommendations, good commentary. Where can everybody follow you at, bud?
Yep, as always, at Shock Nero on Twitter, EZShock on Xbox Live. Please, whatever you do, don't watch Wonder Woman 1984. Save yourself the time.
Dude, that movie's trash. I was like, are you serious?
And especially when you read up on the villains turning him, Max Lord, into a wishing stone. Oh my god, I can't. But I love the first one, but yeah, this one just was. But hey, good news. They did sign on for a third one, so.
Yeah, I heard about that. Wow.
I don't know. After seeing that other one, it's trash. I'm not looking forward to the other one.
The problem was the director did the first one, or the directing, but not the writing. And this one, I guess she did the writing, which that's where it went downhill. Because the actors were good, but the writing was and the plot was terrible.
They must have made a deal with her just to be like, okay, well, this isn't going to be in all the theaters, and we're going to put this on the streaming service, so we'll give you another shot at making a shitty movie. Unfortunately,
yeah.
Man,
But Soul was good. I watched that. That was pretty nice. So.
Yeah, Soul was good, but that was just cringe. That mall scene, and oh my gosh,
What is this? 80s DC TV show?
Wow, I'm scared to watch.
How did this go from some dark, gritty, in the first one into this super fun? They're trying to be Marvel all the time. They can't stop. Just leave it alone.
Damn. All right, now you guys got me pretty scared. I mean, I've been reading up on it, but wow, that's bad. That's I mean, I did.
But decide for yourself.
No, of course, but I mean, I really enjoyed the first one too. But that's really disheartening. Damn. And Gal Gadot's pretty hot too.
HBO's really terrible streaming quality does help mask some of the bad CGI, so that is a plus.
All right, good to know, Shockley. And to round this out, fellas, I'm Invader, and you all can find me and my content over on YouTube at Invader Gaming. And of course, I'm active on Twitter at Invader_1986. Everyone, have a good night and have a fantastic new year from all of us at the TXR Podcast. Keep safe, and we cannot wait to see you next Sunday and into the new year. Later, fellas.